Anyway, speaking of companies doing not so well, so it's not just Facebook who's on a downward trend in terms of its demand. Here we have Alibaba, one of the biggest e-commerce giant in the world, particularly in China, has an operating loss of $1.2 billion. Now, not necessarily the reasons you might think that if they did terribly from last year. Now, obviously, for many of the companies, especially from the last year during the pandemic, e-commerce platforms tend to do better. So what's the reason here now? According to the article in Forbes.com, it mentions because of antitrust regulators' fine on the said company, where they deemed that they were unfair and monopolistic in terms of their stranglehold in the marketplace here. So the Alibaba Group, which is owned by Mr. Jack Ma, had a first quarterly operating loss since the company went public a few years back. So they were imposed a massive fine, as mentioned, by the China antitrust regulators. So if they were not hit by the fine, which is in the sum of 18.2 billion yuan for engaging monopolistic practices, they would have reported almost 50% of increase in their revenue on year on year, in a sum of almost 11 billion yuan. Since they had generated an operating income of almost 90 billion, which is slightly down compared to the previous year. But anyway, according to the CEO, Daniel Zhang, so according to the CEO, we believe that the best way to overcome these challenges is to look forward and invest for the long run. So obviously, a company can do so much on their end, and the repercussions of the antitrust, will it be a long-term problem for them? Maybe not. I mean, obviously, despite the fine that the hefty fine that they were attached with, it's only a single point in time, and with the way they're growing as a company, investing in other businesses, they're still continue to grow and generate more revenue here. And what's interesting here is that the company's core business, which saw a significant increase, the gross merchandise value saw an increase of almost 7.5 trillion yuan on its retail marketplace for this year. Then they have other businesses for their Alibaba Cloud services. So the company computing affiliate has seen a surge of 50% on revenue of a little over 60 billion yuan. So they're not doing bad. And you also have Alibaba expecting to see a revenue rise almost 1 trillion by the year 2022. So obviously this will have a short-term effect, or dip in their shares, might say, but they'll be fine in the long run. Now obviously it all started when Mr. Jack Ma, the co-founder or billionaire of the company, was slammed for its comment on the China's financial regulators, which could have not, but as you can see in the timeline right after when Jack Ma talked about or slammed the government about its regulation, everything turned where it is right now. So is it a long-term impact for the company? Not necessarily, because they're a very big company, and this is what can compete in the likes of Amazon in the Western market here.